Good morning, third grade. Today I would like to go over Chapter 9 Review/Test. I want to start with the vocabulary. It says choose the best term from the box to complete the sentence, and the answer is equivalent fractions are two or more fractions that name the same amount, and that's from page 373 in your big book. Under concepts and skills, we were to compare and write a less than, a greater than, or an equal sign. And number 2 says 2/6 is greater than 2/8. And remember, we look at the bottom denominator. Eighths would be much smaller pieces of the whole. So if the numerator is same and the bottom number is larger, it means smaller pieces. So this is 2/6 greater than less than 2/8. And number 3, 1/4 is greater than 1/8. And number 4, 3/8 is less than 7/8. When you have the same denominator, all you do is compare the numbers of the numerator, because remember, the numbers on the top, the numerator, just tell us how many pieces of the whole. Number 5, 2/4 is equal to 2/4. Number 6, 3/3, which is actually 1/2, is greater than 2/3. Number 7, 4/6 is less than 4/2. 4/2 is actually 2 wholes. Now, number 8 through 11 says write the fractions in order from least to greatest. 1/6, 3/6, 4/6. Again, just comparing the numerators. Now, in this one, we have to compare the denominators, and that means the largest number is actually the smallest piece. So we're going to go from smallest or least to greatest. We're going to go 1/8, 1/3, and 1/2. Number 10, we're comparing the numerators again because the denominator is 3. So 0/3, 1/3, 3/3. And the last one, number 11, we'll be comparing the denominator. Now remember, the larger the denominator, the smaller piece of the whole. So 4/8, 4/6, and then 4/4. 12 through 14 say use the model or number line to find the equivalent fraction. Now I did 3/4 and turned it into eighths by drawing a line down the center. So 3/4 is equal to 6/8. Same thing here. 2/8 is equal to 1/4. And on the number line, 1/3, I found 1/3, made a dot. Right up above it is 2/6. Now, number 15 says Tally ran 3/8 of a mile at the park. Which distance is less than 3/8 of a mile? 1/8 of a mile is less. When we have the same denominator, we're just comparing the numerators. So 1/8 of a mile is less. Mrs. Harris is ordering a dozen flowers for a party. She says that 1/6 of the flowers must be red and that 1/3 of the flowers must be pink. Which of the following correctly compares the two fractions? Now remember, when we're comparing denominators, we have to remember that the higher number is the smaller piece of the whole. So D is your correct answer. 1/6 is less than 1/3. David, Maria, and Simone are shading same size index cards for a science project. David shaded 2/4 of his index card, Maria shaded 2/8 of her card, and Simone shaded 2/6 of her card, which shows the shaded parts of the index cards in the order from greatest to least. B, because the denominator is the smaller number, means it has the larger pieces, 2/4, 2/6, and 2/8. Number 18, Melissa is decorating a paper plate. She is shading 1/4 of the paper plate blue. Which model shows 1/4? In order to have 1/4, we have to either have it cut into fourths or eighths. Now here it's cut into fourths, but two are shaded. So if you look, this is the same amount, it's just cut into eighths, and 2/8 equals 1/4. Olivia is painting 2 same-size tiles for art class. She paints 7/8 of one tile green. Then Olivia paints 5/8 of the other tile. Which of the following correctly compares the painted parts of the tile? Well, again, we're just comparing the numerator. 7/8 is greater than 5/8. 7 is larger than 5. Nicholas ran 5/6 of a mile, 2/6 of a mile on Tuesday, and 6/6 of a mile on Wednesday. Which list orders the fraction from least to greatest? That's smallest to largest. We're just comparing numerators. 2/6 is the smallest, 5/6 is the next largest, and 6/6 is the largest. On our constructed response, number 21 says Alexia and Rachel each ordered a medium pizza. Alexia was cut into 8 equal sizes. Rachel's was cut into 6 slices. Each pizza had only 3 slices with mushrooms on top. Write a fraction for each girl's pizza to tell what part had mushroom. Okay, each pizza had only 3 slices with mushrooms on top. So 3/8 and 6/8. Then tell whose pizza had a greater part with mushrooms. So 3/6 is larger than 3/8. So Rachel's had more mushrooms. Brian and Casey's mother made 2 small pizzas that were the same size. She cut one pizza into 8s and the other pizza into 6. She placed 7/8 of the first pizza in Brian's lunch and 5/6 of the second pizza in Casey's lunch. Which boy had less pizza in his lunch? Explain the strategy you used to solve the problem. Since 1/8 is less than 1/6, a smaller piece was missing from Brian's, so Casey had less pizza in his lunch. Mrs. Reed baked 4 cakes for the party. Use the rectangles to represent the cakes. Draw lines to show how Mrs. Reed could cut 1 cake into thirds, 1 into fourths, 1 into sixths, and 1 into eighths. At the end of the party, equivalent fractions of 2 pairs of cakes were left over. Shade equivalent amounts on pairs of rectangles to show the cake that might have been left over. Then write 2 pairs of equivalent fractions. And the first one I shaded 1/3, and that would be equal to 2/6. That would be the first and the third cake. And the next one I shaded 2/4, which is actually 1/2, compared to the last one I shaded 4/8, which is also 1/2. Okay, that is the end of your test. Now, normally we would go to the next chapter, which would be chapter 10, but we are going to skip to chapter 11, and I will do a lesson on chapter 11:1 today and send it up. Thank you.